Hi, this is my initial post for the last module for EDL 551 Student Development Theory. The module that we're looking at now is Module 5, Religion, Spirituality, and Ethics. There were a couple of readings for this module. There was one in the Jones and Abe's text, and there were 3 chapters in the Evans text, and there were several additional readings on Blackboard that were very interesting. For the purpose of this initial post, I'm trying to focus on just one, which is in the Evans text in Chapter 11, James Fowler's theory of faith development. So Fowler defined belief as conscious intellectual agreement with particular doctrines or ideologies. Religion, he says, consists of many beliefs and practices of a collective group of people over a period of time. And in his opinion, faith then underlines both belief and religion, but is also inclusive of secular worldviews. He says it's our way of finding coherence in and giving meaning to the multiple forces and relationships that make up our lives. Fowler was trained as a Methodist minister, and he began to formulate his theory of faith while he was working at a retreat. And this retreat was a center for clergy and lay people, and there he had the opportunity to listen to the stories of over 300 people. And through those stories, he made connections to what he was hearing and to Erickson's stages of identity development. And out of all of this, he came up or developed these stages of faith, what he calls the stages of faith. So the first one isn't actually a stage, it's a pre-stage. It's called primal faith. And this is prior to you actually talking, a pre-linguistic manifestation of faith that arises in a person's first years in the context of relationship with primary caretakers. So in other words, these relationships are formed from the basis of one's first images of God, from what he's hearing or she is hearing around him. The stage 1 is intuitive projective faith. This stage manifests around 2 with the emergence of language, and at this time children begin to construct their first images of God based on perception, feelings, and imagination. Stage 2 is mythic literal faith, and this is during the elementary school years, around 6 or 7 years of age. And children develop at this stage, they begin to develop the ability to see perceptives other than their own. They are able to follow, make sense of, and remember stories told to them by their family and significant others. Stage 3 is synthetic conventional faith. During early adolescence, individuals develop the ability to think abstractly and to integrate ideas from various sources, including peers, school, media, and perhaps a religious community. And although at this stage they're trying to make meaning of faith, they're having a hard time to consider it critically. Stage 4 is individuative reflective faith, and this stage is initiated when one's definition or self-definition becomes self-authored, and one's system of beliefs, values, and commitment becomes a coherent and explicit meaning-making system. In other words, at this stage, they are able to consider their faith critically. Stage 5 is conjunctive faith, and the movement in this stage take place at midlife or beyond. It involves an increasing awareness of the complexity of life and unconscious influences of one's behaviors and attitudes. And stage 6 is universalizing faith. Persons who reach this final stage experience a radical decentration from self, defined as knowing the world through the eyes of others different from them, and they value God and other people from a standpoint more nearly identified with the love of the Creator for creatures. Now, Fowler stated that it was rare for individuals to actually get to this stage, and some of the examples that he cited was Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Mother Teresa. He did went on to suggest, however, that in partnership with the Spirit, any person has the potential to move on to universalizing faith. So Fowler took all these ideas a little bit further and linking them to the development of the idea of vocation, which he saw as more than work. In his view, vocation draws in every aspect of the person's life and is therefore a desire, not just an automatic end goal of development. And higher education uses Fowler's theory in settings such as counseling and teaching. So I thought about this because I was thinking about my mentees, and During the initial session that we were talking, one of the things that they liked was the fact that they were able to at least make it to church. And so I think that faith does have a definite role in our development. And that's it.